Warm. Before you share that viral post, ask these Socratic questions and stop being manipulated by headlines. A notification pops up. A shocking breaking news post flashes on the screen. Your finger hovers over the share button. It feels urgent. It feels true. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Fake news doesn't spread because it's smart. It spreads because we stop thinking, even for 5 seconds. We react instead of asking. We share instead of questioning. And in those few seconds, someone else's agenda becomes your voice. Today, you're not just going to fact-check. You're going to use the Socratic Method as a shield, a weapon against manipulation, a way to break the spell that headlines cast on your mind. But before we reveal the questions, first, you need to understand why fake news works so well. Fake news doesn't trick your logic. It hijacks your emotions. Most creators stop here. They tell you to just double-check the source, but they never explain why manipulation works so easily. Socrates would start by exposing the mechanism, the invisible switches inside the mind. First, confirmation bias. We don't search for truth, we search for agreement. If a headline supports what we already believe, our brain whispers, "Yes, that sounds right," and we hit share without a second thought. Second, emotional hijack. Fake news isn't designed to inform you, it's designed to trigger you. Anger, fear, outrage. When emotions spike, reasoning drops. Your brain switches from thinking to reacting. Third, the illusion of authority. A random quote, a supposed expert, a dramatic statistic. We see the packaging and assume the content must be credible. But Socrates never trusted authority without a question. He challenged the claim before he accepted the title. These 3 traps catch almost everyone, but the Socratic Method cuts through all of them by asking first and believing later. Now, let's apply Socratic questioning, step by step. Believe nothing until you can define it. Before you react, before you share, before you even form an opinion, Socrates teaches one simple move. Name the claim, because you cannot judge what you cannot define. Ask the first Socratic question. What is this post actually claiming? Strip away the emotion, strip away the headline, strip away the sensational phrasing. What is the core statement underneath? Then ask, is it a fact, an opinion, or an interpretation? A fact describes reality. An opinion expresses belief. An interpretation mixes pieces of truth with personal framing. Most fake news hides in that third category, something that sounds factual, but is actually someone's emotional translation. Scientists confirm new pandemic is spreading. Is that a verified event, or is it a speculative warning blown up into a dramatic headline? Once you define the claim, the illusion weakens. Now the conversation shifts from reaction to clarity. After the claim, we challenge the source. If you can't see the source, you can't trust the story. Once you've clarified the claim, Socrates pushes you to ask the next crucial question. Who said this? Not the headline, not the comment section, not someone online. A real source with a name, credentials, and responsibility. Then ask the sharper question. What do they gain if I believe it? Every message has a motive. Someone clicks, someone outraged, some wants you scared, divided, or distracted. Socrates knew, when you understand the incentive, you understand the manipulation. Most people stop here, and that's the weakness of other guides. They tell you, check the source, but they never explain how to recognize a bad one. So here's the simple rule. If a post has no author, no link to original research, no verifiable organization behind it, that's not a story. That's a red flag wearing a headline. A viral study shared on social media, but the article has no scientist name, no institution, no research paper. That's not information, that's propaganda with good typography. Next, we challenge the evidence, the biggest missing piece in fake news. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Now that we've challenged the claim and the source, Socrates takes us to the hardest question of all. How do they know? Not how they feel, not what the headline suggests, but what proof actually exists. Next question. What data supports this? If a post is true, it should point you to numbers, studies, documents, something you can check, not just something you can share. And the final blow, is there a primary source? A real photo, a real report, a real statement, not a screenshot of a screenshot. This is where most fake news falls apart, fast. Let's make it practical. Imagine a viral post that says, "A new citywide lockdown starts tomorrow. Leaked government document confirms it." Thousands share it. People panic.
Warm. But when you look closely, the document is just a blurry image with mismatched fonts and no official seal. No primary source, no evidence, just fear wrapped in formatting. Or think of charts with dramatic spikes, but no axes, no labels, no citation. That's not data, that's decoration with an agenda. If the proof can't be confirmed, the claim can't be trusted. Now we ask the question fake news fears the most. Every piece of propaganda has a purpose. Now that we've questioned the evidence, Socrates pushes us into the most uncomfortable layer: intent. Start with the simplest question. Why was this published? Real information informs. Fake information manipulates. So what is this trying to make you feel or make you do? Next, who benefits if people believe this? Because someone always does. A politician, a content farm, an influencer, a seller, a troll. Fake news is never free. It always pays someone. And the final question, what emotion is it trying to trigger? Fear, anger, disgust, urgency. Once you see the emotional hook, the manipulation becomes obvious. Take a simple example. A viral post claims new vaccine causes severe brain damage. Doctors warn parents to stay away. Scary headline, dramatic photo, no source. So who benefits? Maybe an anti-vaccine group, or a page selling natural remedies, or a political figure fueling distrust. Evaluate the intent, and suddenly the truth becomes clearer. Most viewers stop at fact-checking, but Socrates asks something deeper, the motive behind the message. Now comes the step most people never expect: context checking. A fact without context becomes a weapon. Here's where fake news wins most easily. It gives you facts, but removes the frame. So we use Socratic questioning to bring the frame back. Start with, what's missing from this story? Because missing information is often more dangerous than false information. Then ask, what would the opposite side say? If you can't answer that, you don't understand the situation. You're just reacting to a fragment. A headline screams, "Crime increased 50%. Sounds terrifying. But if a town went from 2 incidents to 3, that is still 50%. The number is true. The meaning is not. That's how context turns a harmless statistic into fear-driven propaganda. Context is the oxygen of truth. Remove it, and anything becomes alarming. Now we move to the toughest filter: contradiction detection. The truth is consistent. Manipulation is not. If something is true, it aligns with reality, and it aligns with itself. Fake news rarely does either. So we use two Socratic questions. Does this contradict known facts? If a claim breaks what is already well established, it needs stronger evidence, not louder headlines. Then ask, does this contradict itself? Because internal inconsistency is the signature of manipulation. A post declares, "Scientists all agree with this new finding," but 2 sentences later says, "They're afraid to speak out." You can't have full consensus and silent suppression at the same time. That contradiction alone tells you the story is engineered, not discovered. Consistency is the quiet mark of truth. Contradiction is the loud mark of persuasion. Now we test the claim with the ultimate Socratic filter. If a claim collapses under pressure, it wasn't true. This is where Socrates used his most powerful tool, the universal test, a way to see if the claim survives outside its bubble. Ask the first question. What would happen if everyone believed this? If the result is chaos, fear, or blind obedience, then the claim might be designed for emotional impact, not for truth. Then ask the second question. What would happen if the opposite were true? If the opposite leads to a more stable, reasonable world, that's a sign the original claim might be exaggerated, biased, or flat-out manipulated. This test exposes weak logic instantly. A truthful idea holds up under pressure. A manufactured idea breaks the moment you flip it. The universal test doesn't tell you what to think. It shows you whether the claim can stand in the real world, not just in your feed. Now let's wrap everything into a quick checklist, 7 questions that can protect your mind for life. Let's bring everything together into one simple Socratic checklist you can use anytime you read, watch, or share information online. 1. What is the claim? Define exactly what the post is saying. 2. Who is the source? Check who is behind the message. 3. What is the evidence? Look for data, proof, and primary references. 4. What is the intent? Ask why this was posted and who benefits if you believe it. 5. What is the context? See what the story might be leaving out.
6. What contradicts this? Search for inconsistencies and arguments on the other side. 7. What if everyone believed it? Test whether the claim survives when you apply it universally. These 7 questions form a mental firewall. Use them slowly, use them calmly, and fake news will lose its power over you.
Name the claim, because you cannot judge what you cannot define. Ask the first Socratic question. What is this post actually claiming? Strip away the emotion. Strip away